Greetings everyone, I am Sister Lily and welcome to my rory. So today we're going to take a look at how I made my eviscerator and I'll walk you through the process. So the first step was to do a rough breakdown drawing where I separated the various details on the chainsaw into their own relative components, so the pommel, the hand grip, the hand guard, the motor section and the blade, and then details that went on the blade. And as well as worked out, one thing I worked out which I don't have on the template, on the drawing here, is I worked out how many chainsawed teeth there were, and by extension I was able to then work out how many I needed to actually fit on there, and from there worked out a template which you can see in a kind of blurry image on the screen, and then see actually put onto the template to actually go around it. So from there I worked out the template properly and marked in the template with black marker on large sheets of paper essentially. This chainsaw is essentially 2 meters long if I factor in the pommel, all the way to the pommel. So it wasn't particularly small. Initially I wanted to do a multi-layer core in there, because I didn't have enough wood for the core. Unfortunately that wasn't particularly rigid, so I ended up scrapping the whole idea for the multi-part core and instead ended up making a different one. As you can see, just the template alone is huge, and I have it sitting next to my Rory Mercury axe that was in early stages of painting at the time. With the master template established, I went ahead and made template copies of it for the different layers using greaseproof paper and sticky tape. Now there are other ways of doing it that are probably a bit more efficient on materials. I also wasn't willing to put holes in the desk that I was working on, so I went with the least damaging approach. So yeah, from there I then proceeded to actually cut out some initial layers that weren't quite even but were easily adjustable. At the time I didn't have access to per the meter rolls of EVA foam, so I had to cut this thing up into multiple pieces in terms of the template, hence why there are lines through it, and set it up so they'd overlap in different ways for strength. Essentially think stretcher bond pattern with bricks. And from there ended up cutting out a whole lot of layers of foam that I gradually ended up layering together to actually make the shape of it. It was at this point that I also cut out the hand grip template for it, which annoyingly I don't seem to have any separate pictures of the template on here. Unfortunately the template got damaged, so I can't take more recent pictures of it. And I also at this stage started cutting out the teeth for the chainsaw. From there I cut out a veritable mountain of teeth, some of which you can see on screen now, and sealed them with PVA glue, and then came back and primed them with black gesso. Was this the best way of doing it? Maybe not, but it worked. That being said, because of how things were done, I ended up having everything sitting on spikes so as to make sure the glue could drip off the bottom of the teeth without actually sticking the teeth to the foam. And yeah, that worked. Next I proceeded to wrap the blade in a polypropylene foam I'd got from Kmart that was roughly 2 meters long, so as to actually have foam that could give me a smooth finish without breaks in it along the way. And that provided me with the main body of my blade done. So I was able to move on to working on the engine section and actually did the detail for the running wheels for the teeth to actually go around as if it were an actual chainsaw. And for those I just used hot chocolate container lids, because why make my life harder than it had to be? Now I did then proceed to cut into one side of the actual engine section, and then I cut the lid down massively so as to make it a lot smaller, so it would fit in there and have a lower profile. And it actually worked really well. So for the engine block I'd cut out circular indents into the rectangle for it that had little sections that were just wide enough that I could connect bits of foam to the end of them to cover over a section of XPE foam that I cut out that was just the right width to actually fit in there and form essentially the centre blocked in, meshed in section of the chainsawed engine blocks that you see on every chainsaw ever, pretty much, from GW. And then I proceeded to wrap the hand grip in foam and then attempted some binding around it so as to kind of make it look a bit more interesting, and then proceeded to seal and prime everything. For sealing I just used PVA glue, and I then primed it with black gesso, because why break what isn't broken? Next I did some weathering effects and then added in all the teeth, having added silver paint to them. Unfortunately I don't have any pictures of them with the silver paint on it, because I kind of did that as a last minute thing. And took the prop with me to PAX Oz that year. And yeah, you'll see an awesome pictures with it, and the picture of the Sailor Moon cosplayer with it is actually from Supernova the following year. Anyway, this has been the build of my Eviscerator, and a little hint for the future. I'm going for the entire sororitas armoury. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed and found this informative. For more builds and other cosplay and Warhammer related stuff, why not click subscribe? Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.